Welcome everybody to the Burnout Show. I am here with Tammy Davis. We're going to dive into first principle thinking after play this reel. Be right back. All right, welcome. Hello, Tammy. How are you today?
I'm well. How about you?
Doing well on this fine Tuesday. So I'm excited about this topic today because I even had, did a little bit of research beforehand. Still not an expert, but I'm glad you're here to kind of teach us about first principle thinking and how we can apply it to burnout, how we can apply it to solutions, all those things that are, they're either running rampant or we need really good solutions in our profession today. So, all right, I'm gonna kick it over to you. What is first principle thinking?
Well, first principles thinking is the idea of breaking a problem down to the root, to just getting to the basic level of it. Um, and there's a number of steps that you can actually take, but when we start looking at what a problem is, what I've found is that if we begin to look at it from the assumptions that if there's a group of us working together, what are the assumptions that come up around why this problem even exists? You can begin to, and then once you explore, and assumptions are based on interpretations. Everybody's going to come with their own ideas and their own opinions about something, and those are often, more often than not, I should say, they take into account the emotions behind everything. And it was something that I heard a long time ago that really stuck with me. I mean, it really caused me to, I still think about it today, and I'll even ask myself today. And so the idea of what we're working on here when it comes to burnout is we can alleviate the burnout when we become aware of why we do what we do, why we feel the way we feel, why we, and which is, and can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear? Okay.
Yep. You're good. You're back.
Thank you about that. I have no idea. I have to explain to you. I am on my phone because I'm still setting up technology. And the interesting thing is, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, but Siri doesn't. Siri is a terrible assistant.
Yes.
um, anyway, that's a problem. So we have to figure this one out. Um, so anyway, but that's the idea is when we come to a problem, oftentimes what ends up happening is we begin to want to make change from from our emotional state. And again, the statement that was made to me a long time ago is we're not a thinking being, we're a feeling being. And people tend to make decisions, and their actions that come from that are based on the way they feel about a situation as opposed to what they actually think about it. So first principles thinking, what you want to do as a team is begin to get everything on the table. What are all the assumptions? What are all the opinions? And in a safe container, allow everyone to really begin to explore what their emotions are around it. You don't have to have a roundtable discussion about it, but if there's a couple of you, get real about what the emotions are, because those emotions are based in beliefs that we have about ourselves. Our beliefs, and here's the other thing, not even necessarily about ourselves. Well, it does come back to the way we think about ourselves, but my assertion is going to be that when you start to explore those assumptions, you're going to have opinions about what's going on with other people. And those opinions about what's going on with other people or what's going on with the situation are going to be reflective of what's actually happening inside of you. So this really takes it into the core of responsibility of, and we've talked about this in other shows, is getting back to owning what we're bringing to the table. I mean, a really good example, I'm going to use, the conversation that you and I've been having around restaging the time frame for these, when we come on here and doing like the burnout forum. One of the first things, an old version of me would have been, well, people don't want to show up because they're not interested. You know, we can make up all of these assumptions, and that's all it is. It's just, and we've pretty much all of us have heard the belief around the word assumptions or to assume. So you get to the bottom of the assumptions, and then when you hammer all of that out, the next level I like to take first principles thinking is get to the facts, because once you when you address the emotions and you can clear those off the table, it's just what are the facts? You know, breaking it down to just being radically honest about the facts. These are the facts. We have a schedule that doesn't allow us to do this. We don't have enough people on staff. I mean, we can start to get to the facts, and then from that level, when you address all the facts, now you have at least to have a solid foundation on now what can we do? How can we begin to implement something that will accommodate, you know, well, let's just say, for instance, we don't have enough staff. That alone is a problem, you know, so you can look at now we have maybe an array of problems, and so you can begin to take one problem at a time. Addressing all of them at the same time is not breaking it down to the basics. You want to get to them one at a time. And so if you want to look at, like, okay, we don't have enough staff, that's a fact. What can we do to, and so what are the problems that are arising from not having a staff? See, this goes even deeper. So you want to look at all of that. That's how you get to the first principles thinking. And once you can't break it down any further, you can now begin to implement something that will begin to be building blocks that will now elevate the change that you wish to see. And again, it takes a collective. It doesn't take one person. So this isn't one person we've talked about having a vision. Having a vision is great, but the idea is that you are not spearheading that, you are influencing others. And that's just it. I have to say this, I've been watching a show that it would not be my first choice in shows, because I'm not a violent person, but I am fascinated by the storyline, which is Vikings. And and I heard the most brilliant statement come out of this, and that was, a leader does not, leadership is not a position. I actually heard them that statement. It's not a position. It's not a place that you hold. Leader is is who you are on the team, and the leader has the vision. And you know, in this case, Ragnar has the vision, but he needs everybody to get him to conquer whatever they're going to conquer. Okay, I can't hear you.
Nope, we're good. Sorry about that. I muted myself. No, I love the Ragnar and the Vikings. Of course, it's, you know, yes, it is a violent show, and the Vikings were violent people, but that show brought in a lot of, like, love and kind of emotion to it, which you described recently. But you're right, the vision. You're right. He does have a vision, but he needs the people to buy into that vision in order to go. Like, he can't do it all himself. I love that. Getting back to assumptions, Tammy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was and honestly, like, it seems like a really tough feat to get past the assumptions and then to get to all the way to the first principle, like all where you can't break it down any further. Because it's hard for us to get past assumptions, and it's hard for us to get past emotions, and down to the basic facts and what is caused by that. So I'm kind of lost on that one, like how, you know, and again, I'm thinking from experience, in retail days, you know, where we didn't have enough staff, we didn't have enough, you know, and no matter how much we yelled about not having enough staff, like, we would never get that staff, right? So it's like, okay, and for me, it's like I can't see past that, right? Anyways.
Yeah, so I'm going to say, and if you don't mind me saying so, that's because you were emotionally there's still emotions around it. There's still, yeah, and so with those emotions, it skews our vision. Okay. And what I'm describing here, it sounds like it would take like a lifetime to actually break it down, and yet at the same time, although not having enough staff does put a bit of urgency on the table, if these are things that when there's a commitment to the team, commitment to the corporation, commitment, I mean, that's where we have to break it down. Is like, so what is the commitment to all of that? You know, are you committed to to fulfilling the job, or really, what is your commitment? I mean, again, this is when you come into an organization, you begin to identify with the individuals on the team, what is the commitment, what is the vision, and how can we bring this together? Again, it doesn't have to take a lifetime, but you want to be concise, because when you've got a room full of people talking about their emotions, it's, well, it can, what's the best way to say it concisely? It takes forever.
Yeah. Tammy, hold on one second. It looks like there was someone called out, thank you, Gail, that there's bad reception. I'm going to quick remove you, then bring you back, and to see if that helps.
Okay.
It is kind of scratchy. Be right back. Try now.
Me?
Yeah. Okay. No, it's still. Let's keep going with it here. I can still understand you. It's just a little bit scratchy. So apologies to the viewers, just for the sound. Okay. All right. Back to. Sorry, I just kind of derailed the conversation because that was a really good bit that you had there. Because I mean, a lot of it stems. Like, I want to say, a lot of burnout in pharmacy stems from being understaffed. Like, that is like where most people will argue, and I don't like the phrase, so I'm not going to say it. But yeah, they will stop. Like, that is the basic root cause of most burnout problems in pharmacy, is not enough staff, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's okay. So starting there, everyone agrees. Everyone pulls out the emotions. It's like, how do you get, like, turn it into solutions after that?
Right. So the question that I would have in an organization is, so what's going on that it's understaffed? Is this coming down from the higher ups that we are understaffed? I mean, because that's going to cause a lot of frustration. Is a very mild way to say it. You're going to have really angry people because there's a job that people want you to get done. You're not getting it done. You don't have the techs on staff to help out. And so what is the problem? And if it's a money conversation with the organization, and I do understand that. I mean, like I said, we're talking offline, which is, some of them are really concerned because they're not getting the insurance reimbursements for these. So it's kind of interfering with the staff. So again, breaking this down for the first principles thinking is, it would take some, if there's a commitment to restaff and have the ability to staff an organization to where the metrics were being met, patients were being taken care of, there's not the concern about what am I trying to say? There's always concern about, if errors with dispensing medications and so forth. All of that can be eradicated when you actually understand what is happening with, like I said, if it's a money issue, and how you can break this down and so again, being understaffed and having all these metrics issues, is this a money issue within the corporation, and how can you possibly, I mean, here's just a possibility right now, because we're talking, I mean, everybody's going to have their own issues. But if you had a team of people from the middle that could come together with their own leadership skills and seeing how this might work, and propose, actually show somebody above them what, kind of create out an abstract. I mean, like, even if you're doing a research paper, right? If you want to, I mean, the best example I have in this moment is, if I wanted to present a research paper for a journal, I'm going to have to provide them with an abstract, an outline of how it would look. I'd have to show them. Or I was going to submit a book to a publisher, I'd have to show them what the skeleton would look like, an outline of it. So that's the whole idea, is, when you're understaffed, kind of breaking it down. So what would be the reasons? What are the facts? Why don't we have the staff that we need? And then creating a vision around that maybe nobody else has ever done before. It doesn't make any difference if nobody has done it before. It's a matter of standing in a commitment to an organization that you don't want to leave. If you're committed to staying in that organization, having in that commitment, presenting an idea to somebody, calling a meeting knowing it doesn't have to, it's not going to happen overnight, but you're at least initiating that change. And you're coming to them with, this is what we see, and and what role can we facilitate for you to actually help us help you. Does that? I like the smile, Sean.
No, that's it just reminded me of Jerry Maguire. um, no, but it's no, I do like that. Yeah, I mean, it's when you say middle, like someone from the middle coming up with this idea, like where do you see like that middle ground, that middle leadership? Where are you talking like maybe district level, or are you thinking like middle management, like it would be like the pharmacist in charge who leads the store wouldn't have to get together with maybe other pharmacists in charge because they're all kind of maybe middle management that maybe have a little bit more sway and influence than someone who's not in a management position?
Yeah, no, I think so. Definitely the lead pharmacist for sure.
Okay.
Definitely, because they're in the trenches. They know what it's like. I mean, and y'all are there because of your skills, your skill set, and your leadership skills already. And so, but you're in the middle of it. You know what it's like, and when you can separate yourself from the emotions of it, like, okay, just this pisses me off, kind of a thing. When you can get to that part and get honest about that, it's okay to have the emotions about it. Just don't make decisions from that place. Because the moment you can acknowledge the emotions about it, now you've actually gotten rid of them. It's not like you have to sit there and have like a play in your diaper kind of moment, but just get it out so that you can get clear about what needs to take place.
I like that. It honestly reminds me. We have a couple young lads in the house, 2 boys, 9 and 5, and they're very frustrated, high energy boys. And it sounds like there's similar. This is like proving like very familiar to me because it's coming from these books that my wife reads, and she has these notes that goes along and helps. Like it sounds just like this. It's like, okay, get past the anger, get past the emotion, right? Acknowledge it, but don't react from that spot, and don't make any decisions based off of that emotion, right? Let's just get down to the facts.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you said there as far as because obviously like the majority of the times it's you're not going to overcome corporate metric or corporate staffing models, right? Like if we're talking big chains, it's like those are set in stone, and it's always way up there. Everyone blames the guy above them or the gal above them, the level above them, But I think what you said there, as far as like some of the metrics and stuff that you're accountable to that add to the burnout, obviously you can't control when someone's med is not ready, it takes a long time, and they're yelling at you. Like that's a very stressful situation. But the rest of the metrics, like the only one that matters is errors. Like no errors. Boom. Okay, no errors. Great. Was it done before the patient got here? Perfect. I don't know. There's a lot that I think could be done there, like you were talking about, just versus, not having getting past the emotions. I don't know. I'm kind of lost on this one, Tammy. This is a tough one. It's a tough one.
We can continue, and let's continue it on with next week. The thing is that this one thought that is coming to mind when we talk about chains, and there's multiple stores within an organization, doesn't mean everybody's going to be doing the same thing. First principles thinking might be that this store is trying to enact change in this store. Let that be the model. Let that be the new model. That's a possibility. Just because nobody else has ever done it before doesn't mean that it can't take place. And you could really set a new standard for what it could be like in that company. So
you're right. And the problem is they all want to be the same, or not the stores themselves, but a lot of like the model. They want the model to be the same, so you can just insert this pharmacist here or this technician here, and they can just get in the workflow. But every store is different. Every population is different. Every community is different. So
exactly,
there's a lot we can unpack there. Awesome, Tammy. Well, this is a good conversation. I think we want to keep going on this one, because this one I think is not something that we're going to come up with and learn about in one session. It's going to take multiple sessions for people to start thinking like this, to be able to come back with some solutions down at that first principle thinking level. So
yes.
Awesome, Tammy. Good stuff. Well, I appreciate your time and your efforts as always for our colleagues. So we'll see you next week.